Alright guys, welcome to another episode of the Range Talk Podcast. My name is not CISCO.
And my name is not Brendan.
That one's actually, I take that one as a compliment because Brendan is loaded. But anyway, before we get into the other topics for today, the biggest thing that I want to talk about is we just had BB Wars. BB Wars just ended, and that was an absolute blast.
Absolutely a lot of fun. If you guys got to come out to SC Village this previous weekend for BB Wars Air Revival, it was an absolute blast. I think we had a total of like 120-ish or so people.
120-ish, give or take.
Yeah, come out. It was absolutely a vibe. Definitely a lot of fun. Definitely different from previous BB Wars that we have hosted. And this is actually very interesting for you, ISAIAS, because this is your second BB Wars that you've ever attended. So I want to know, how did it compare to Coastal Front that we had earlier this year up north?
So with Coastal Front that we had, if you guys were a part of that, you guys know that was an absolute blast. One of the biggest draws for Coastal Front, one of the standout features, was the field itself.
Oh yeah.
Right? The field itself was so detailed. There was so much intricate, just planning that went into the layout of the field. Even the set, because I consider that looks like almost like a film set almost. To an extent, right? Mm-hmm. There was so much detail there, and the maps were amazing. They were nice and big and grandiose. I will say, I think I liked the amount of players we had this time around. Coastal Front, we had 300?
I think 350.
Somewhere around there, like 300-ish players.
It was a lot.
It was a lot of players, right? And you needed a bigger map to be able to accommodate that. But the problem was that there was a lot of moments during the games where it was just stalemates.
Yeah.
Right? And don't get me wrong, it's fun, right? You get to shoot at people all day. There's plenty of moving targets for me to shoot at. But with having a smaller amount of players, right, it definitely felt like, okay, you could move around the fields a lot more, which is something that we have been, hyping up about this upcoming BB Wars.
Yep.
Was that there was going to be a lot more room for, creativity and, tactics and being able to move around.
Which we did see.
Oh, yeah, a lot of. I got to be a part of that, which was super dope, right? I think I like the field more. Anything wrong with SC Village. I think the fields, did their job perfectly well. Yep. I did like the fields more at Coastal Front, but I did like the game modes and objectives that we had for Air Revival. And I think Biohazard did a really good job of implementing a lot of tech into the game as well, especially the second game.
Oh yeah.
Right, and also having more than just one objective to get, where it's okay, there's one main objective, but there's other things you can do that will help, maybe not the game itself, but that are part of it that can involve, or that I guess works more along the lines the raffles that we do post game.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Finding these little intels, finding the little gold bars or credits and stuff.
It was incentive for the players to keep their eyes out, which was actually a really, really cool thing that I liked that we implemented. So prior to the game being started, Biohazard and admin, they went out onto the field and placed different items, objectives for both teams. I believe for Empire it was gold bars.
Yeah, it was gold bars, and then for the Rebels it was these hard drives.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was actually hard drives.
No,
hard drive cases. Yeah. Or something like that.
It's these little floppy.
Yeah, and if players found them on field, they get to keep them, and then that earned them additional raffle tickets to win more prizes, which some people actually...
Team Empire, we got all 3 gold bars.
Yeah, baby, that's what's up.
It kind of helped that we dominated the field at that point.
That was definitely... we were pretty aggressive for both games.
Yes, we were.
I'm just saying, Boaz, do better. But... No, it was actually really cool because I was talking to players that were in the middle of the game. I talked to them after the game. They were like, "Yeah, man. Whenever we were I got tired of holding the line. I would just okay, cool. Let me go search for objectives."
Yeah,
and then it gave them other things to do, which. We do try to do that normally with different objectives for the game, but I think with having these objectives solely for the player to benefit themselves in chances to win, I think a good amount of them were okay, cool, I don't need to worry about shooting these guys. Let me try to find some of these goodies to increase my chances of winning the raffle, which I thought was very, very cool. But yeah, I would like to say that the game did go over very well. I would say, though, a lot of the players were not ready for a 2-hour event.
Oh no! Like, I mean, we let them know that the first game, was going to be a 2-hour event. But unfortunately, I'm not saying any of you guys, but you know who you are. Like, you know who you are, right? Like you see it, like, oh yeah, like this Airsoft event, I'm just gonna buy a ticket, right? Which is cool that you do. Yeah, always appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But it really does help if you guys can actually read the description like all the way through, even if there's a lot of words. I promise. Maybe next time we'll put pictures. Yeah. For you guys.
Something with colors.
Something with colors. Maybe pop up.
Little crayon.
Little crayons. All right. Anyway, but yeah, like being able to make it a little more simple. But yes, we did elaborate that it was going to be a 2-hour game, and that players needed to show up, prepared for that. A lot of players, especially on the Rebel side, were not prepared for that, at all.
That we're just talking about the first game in particular. The second game, I would say a lot of the players were a lot more ready for.
Oh yes,
they expected okay, no, I actually need to, because a lot of the players, because they weren't prepared, they had to walk off, get more mags, get more,
drink water.
Yeah, drink water, especially because the breeze didn't kick in until like lunchtime. What?
Yeah, like what was that breeze when we needed it?
I know. If when it kicked in, it was amazing. But man, the first game. Dread, bro.
It was terrible, atrocious, egregious.
But it was definitely a lot of fun because we had the objective of maintaining the satellite.
Yes,
the satellite location, and their main objective was in there, which was more further back on the field. So it gave the rebels. I kind of like to think of it as like a video game where you're starting off and it's pretty easy, but the further along you get, the more difficult it got. Which made sense because you're entering more into enemy territory, and I typically give the beginning speech. Not only
to rally the troops.
Yeah, not only like as we're doing like the staging info and stuff, but right before the game starts, when we're in like the spawn area, like the beginning area.
I remember that.
Yeah, I bring everyone together. I'm like, hey, like let's formulate a plan really quick. So I just remember I was like, how many heavy gunners do we have? And I think like 4 or 5 guys raised their hand.
It wasn't a whole lot of us.
No, yeah, there was not a lot. I think it was actually pretty evenly matched.
In terms of LMGs, no, I know the Rebels had a few LMGs, very few, but so did we. So it's like...
But we only had one specialist, one DMR guy.
Yes.
Who ran a bolt-action sniper rifle. On the Rebel side, I think they had like 8.
I love how when we're doing like our little like pre-game little like speech, like Cisco's like, all right, LMG users pair up with this, right? We want to move up, and then he literally turns to, who's my specialist? How many DMRs? What is that? What do you got? He says, I got a bolt action. Like, all right, you just have fun, go crazy, do whatever you want. It's literally just like, what we can say, right? Like,
you know what? It was funny because my goal, like, I thought, but I counted wrong when, because we asked right before the game started, like when we were doing the staging area, like briefing. They rose hands of specialist DMRs and heavy gunners. I was like, okay, cool, it's evenly stacked.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. All the specialists were on the Rebel side.
Was it Wu one of them?
Wu was one of them. He has his short pistol grip sniper rifle. So
I love how we were joking about it too. Like Boaz was just looking in just absolute shame. Oh, right? And he was showing him his gun. And I was like, hey, that's the Rebel, like standard issue Rebel firearm. And he's like, no.
He's like,
no.
That is not the Rebels I stand for. No, but yeah, it was so when I found out that I only had one specialist on our team, I was like, oh dang. Okay.
It's gonna be a little rough.
So my goal initially was to have a specialist with a heavy gunner. Just wherever one went, the other one was with them.
Interesting pairing.
Yeah, because I think it gives a little bit of a dynamic where the heavy gunner can keep heads down, and the specialist can take those long range shots where the LMG was lacking in range, right? So I thought it would complement each other fairly nicely. But when I found out he had one, I was like, okay. I was like, bro, have fun, get as many kills as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because I was like, once I found out that, I was like, okay, cool. This is. I had to on the fly come up with another plan. I was like, here's what we're gonna do: create a straight line across the field, spread out the LMGs like all the way across, so we can get a wall of fire for them to not get past. I do not want any of them to come past like a certain point. And I think that actually worked out very well.
Oh, it worked out very well. We ended up getting a little bit too...
I know for you.
Yeah, it was rough for me. It was rough for me because mid-game, my 240 that I had brought up that I just had upgraded literally went down. My MOSFET literally exploded. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like I had a runaway trigger because at first one wasn't feeding at first. I'm like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah.
And then the trigger started getting away. I'm like, even when I would put it on safe, it's like, oh no, this is not okay.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to like yank the battery out, and I just saw smoke coming from the MOSFET. That was not good.
Well, at least it was the MOSFET, not the battery.
Oh yeah, no. Battery is chilling. Battery was like a 4,000 mAh battery in there too, so that would have lasted a while.
Yeah. Well, see, your LMG went down. And Paul's LMG went down.
Yes, it is.
Paul went out, shot 15 shots, stripped the piston or gear, and I was like, oh no.
That was the Aries one too.
It was Gucci Aries, like an old school one, the Aries Stoner. But no, it was so funny because I was like, we're down 2 LMGs.
We had like I think we had like 2 LMGs left. I think we had 2 LMGs on the entire team, or 3. We had 3 LMGs left, I believe. Yeah, and they were mostly the Stormtrooper guys. You know the guys? There was actually a couple of guys that actually showed up. You know they were a team. These guys are cool too. I talked to them. Very aggressive in their playstyle, but they were, it's just they're a bunch of rowdy boys, right? No, they showed up in like full-on white, everything. The only thing they had, obviously, the regular like camo like plate carriers and gear, but they were just some of them were in like painters get-up. Yeah. Only a few of them actually showed up in like white. Like work pants and just like a white long sleeve.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be the Stormtroopers. That was funny.
It's funny because I originally thought they were rebels. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh damn, these guys look pretty kitted out.
Yeah.
So and then Boaz came up. He's like, you got those guys on your team? I was like, I don't think so. I was like, we're supposed to be camo, but
they had no camo at first.
I mean, we had talked it out and we worked it out. I was like, okay, cool. We'll just make it clear that the guys in white, there was no way of avoiding them. The guys in white are going to be Empire. So that luckily worked out. But I wanted to give them an earful because I was like, guys, I've been saying we're camo. He was like, we can change it to our regular camos, but. And I was like, you know what? All right, valid.
I think they did it intentionally. I think they wanted to do white because they're like, oh yeah, Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
I think that was the whole mindset.
No, it definitely played to the role. It was actually super dope. But for the first game, it went on for again like 2 hours. I say we put up one hell of a fight.
Oh yeah, more so.
Oh no, it was so.
We gave the rebels a spanking, man. That's what happened, dude.
Whooped their ass.
We whooped their ass so hard. Like I felt we felt bad because we're like, all right, we were told specifically not to spawn camp, and we did everything we could not to spawn camp.
Oh no,
but the rebels just weren't pushing. It didn't help too that most of the rebels were just dropping like flies. They just were not prepared. For the 2-hour game.
Yeah. I mean, what? Honestly, it made it feel like they were coming in waves.
Kind of, almost.
Yeah, because we were all running comms, which was hilarious because like halfway through the first game, I found out that like I wasn't broadcasting, but I was receiving. So like I'm trying to like reply to people, get intel, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then like I'm back at spawn. I'm like, okay, cool. Where's everyone at? And like no one's heading. And then like I forget who it was, but someone was next to me that was on the channel. Was like, I'm not getting you. I was like, what the fuck?
It was me. It was me and Ratu. Both Ratu and I.
Yeah, and I was like, damn it! I was like, all right, ask them this, trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, because the left side of the field for us is the right side for the rebels, and that was like the stressful point for our side because
you would just hear Sam being like, I'm a little overwhelmed on the left side. I could use a little help here, and it was just Sam holding down the left side by himself. I felt so bad. We meant to send him reinforcements, and just like, nah, sorry, right side you got a few more people. Nah, you're on your own.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like I was hearing that when I was on field. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. My boy Paul, he ran his LNG. Mm-hmm. The first game he ran, the first literally 15 shots, his pistol strip. He came back, and he was like, my gun stripped. I was like, damn it. So I was like, all right, I just need to form the line really quick. I gave him my MGC4. I was like, and just go. So I was just telling him, I was like, go, just please get the line formed. I was like, after that, come back, whatever. So like the first like 15-ish minutes of the game, I was just like, I was doing more of the admin thing where I was like, okay, cool. Like, or the leader thing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, trying to establish.
You're Overwatch at that point.
Yeah, points of communication, like drawing the border of how far like we've gotten ahead, and I think they beat us originally. They got like 60-ish% of the way toward us. So I was like, we need to push hard. So when I felt like after about 10-15 minutes, I was like, all right, cool, I'm going in. At that point, I only had my Glock, my Elite Force Glock, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, I don't have a rifle. You know what? Screw it. Let's just go.
I remember seeing him too. You were walking up the right side, just pistol only. Guys, I need pistol. I only have a pistol.
Oh, dude, it was so funny because like I'm slowly like moving upwards. Like I'm like bunkering off of like our teammates that have already like posted up.
Yeah.
I'm like going from like the left, like our left, like far corner, going more toward the right side. I'm just bunkering off across, and I get to like the holding point where we were on the right side. I'm like, all right, cool. Like they're kind of stuck back here, so I was like, all right, cool. You know, I'm gonna push up. I'm gonna try and give us a little bit more room. So I get in front of everybody, and like this corner, there was like bunkers like set in front of us. I'm like right here, and they were crowded. Like boys were camping, just not camping, but like they were like peeking out, like holding that corner down. And I was like, oh man, this is rough. So I'm like, all right, cool, screw it. Just, you know, like I'm picking them off slowly one by one, and I start seeing like they're dwindling down. But like at this point, like I only had 3 mags on me for the Elite Force Glock, so 75 shots, give or take, right? Like I'm down on my last mag. I'm like, guys, move up, please. I need guys here to hold this line. Please, for the love of Christ, help me. This is all I have. And then it's funny because at that point, Brendan came running past me to get to the bunker like directly in front of me. And I was like, oh thank God. And then I saw Ackright come through. He had his AK-12. Chef was there, Darktree was there. You at that point, your
my 240 had gone down.
Yeah, your 240 had gone down. So like I was moving, like I was there for like I don't know, like a good like 20-ish minutes, just trying to like coordinate with everyone. And then like at that point, I completely ran dry. And one of the rules for the event was we can't reload mags on field. Like, you could swap magazines from your gun, right?
And you can refill your magazines, but you would have to be at spawn.
Yeah, so I didn't, I wasn't trying to break the rules or anything. So I was like, all right, cool, let me walk back to spawn, get topped off, and then get back into it. So then, as I'm walking back, I see ISAIAS struggling. Like, I see the despair through his mask. I see it written all over his face.
It was rough.
Oh, man, I felt so bad for him. I was like, I can't.
There's nothing you can do.
I was like,
I
can't troubleshoot this one.
This is so specialized. Like,
yeah, I was like, I don't have any experiences with it.
Thankfully though, like I did bring spare guns. That's another thing too.
Yes.
If any of you guys have ever considered going to an airsoft event, no matter what event it is, whether it be like hardcore Milsim event or just like a BB war, something a little bit more not really casual, but just bring spare guns.
Yeah.
Trust me, I went through 2 whole guns. My second gun that I brought was my Mark 46 actually. I brought the Mark 46 out, and that one, was kicking ass as well. I was doing so good. I was working out with Samurai rather than Darktree.
Yep.
I was doing amazing. And then that went down, too.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, I told you. I completely ruined the bucking.
You did tell me the bucking tour.
The bucking tour.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be surprised. At a certain point, I've been running that gun since 2019 with the same hop-up setup and everything. For every Milsim West that I've ever gone to, for every casual game that I play at Wildlands, it was bound to happen at some point or another.
Do you know what bucking you had in there originally?
I'm pretty sure I just had a regular modified bucking.
Oh, like a flat hop?
Yeah, I had a flat hop.
Time to upgrade to that unicorn.
I'm gonna get that unicorn. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm gonna get that unicorn, right? Which I'm happy. I'll take this, right? I try to be positive, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, with my 240, the main thing that went down was the box magazine and the MOSFET,
yep.
right? I already replaced the MOSFET. The gun works.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Awesome. Now I just gotta fix the box magazine.
Yeah.
The 249, everything else works on it, but the hop-up assembly, right? Well, the hop chamber itself is still good. But the bucking inner barrel, I'm going to swap that out for a unicorn anyway, so it could have been a lot worse.
No,
a lot worse. Thankfully, I had my XM177 on me.
Yeah.
And that gun will not die, no matter what I do, so.
Yeah. That's not wood. Go knock on some wood.
Oh. feel you. We're fine. But no, that game was working great. I had honestly a blast. Like, okay, this is a question that I've been talking about on stream a lot. Was the introduction of the class system?
Yes.
Right. I think, as much as I liked it, in theory, I do think that it could be tweaked out a little bit more.
Yes.
To, like, again, just be a little more convenient for the players.
Yes, I agree.
And to incentivize them to do something else. Because at the end of the day,
yeah.
We already know that assault class is going to be the most, like, common. And that's fine. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But for that little, like, you know...
Yeah, for how small the crowd was in comparison to previous BB Wars, we're literally dealing with a fraction of the amount of players, right?
1/3, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, typically, I think up north was relatively on the low side from BB Wars that I've attended and have been a team leader. They've been like 400 plus.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
it's pretty
like,
large.
To be fair, we kind of expected it to be that way. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as I found out that SC Village didn't want to like reschedule from like the date that they had in mind, because again, that's the same weekend as Milsom West.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no.
I mean, it is what it is. They just couldn't book it because of other conflicting events that they had already scheduled out.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, it is what it is. But at the same time, I think what you said with the player classes, because there was one guy, shout out to my boy Chef Pandakage, he came through to run the officer class.
Absolutely, he was dual wielding.
Oh yeah, he even brought out his double barrel scatter gun.
He didn't even have like extra magazine. He had extra guns. So I literally said, like, all right, I'm gonna put these away and grab another gun. It's like, what the?
No, yeah, it's so funny because like he was rocking, especially on the right side when I was up there. Like he just sitting there, doof, 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 doof. I was like, yes, like that's what we need right now. Yeah, I was so hyped for it. But no, yeah, because not that many players. Oh, literally, I think like 2 or 3 people showed up to do officer class.
Yeah.
We had to open it up to any volunteers that were willing to do it.
Yeah.
Because the medic system that we implemented was pretty key for the flow of the event.
Yeah.
If we didn't have as many medics as we did, I think it could have ended really bad, like in a sham.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, there are some things that we could clean up. I mean, again, shout out to Biohazard. I think they really put in work. Shout out to my boy Mike for structuring the event.
And I think overall it was a good system. I do like the system.
Yeah.
I like the class system. I even like on the second game when they introduced like the the command post like stuff where you have to like swipe. I think that was a great idea.
Yeah,
I actually really like that.
Oh yeah, that was actually pretty sick.
I mean, I'm fairly certain, but just so because I never actually got a confirmation. I forgot to ask Mike and you. We won the second game, like points wise, right? Okay. I mean, I know, like actually, yes, we did, but like you know,
it was. I'm just saying, boys, you need to do a better job at rallying
your troops, man.
Rallying your troops, getting them excited. We won.
Yeah, but no, like
I mean, I did say at the beginning of the day, I want a total victory.
You got exactly what you wanted. You got exactly what you wanted.
You know, we just put in work.
Exactly.
My boys, we know what's up.
I think the one thing when it came to the game modes themselves, I like the attack and defend.
Yep.
I think though, for next time, if we do decide to do something very similar, regardless of whether we have Biohazard working with us or not, I would like to. I think they were dope to work with.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if for next time, I think if it's an attack and defend game mode, I think we should probably just, again, for the sake of making it a little bit easier for the rebels, we should draw a hard line closer to our spawn so that we don't venture out too far.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. I was really worried. So, because we didn't have as much ground as I wanted at the beginning of the game, I kept just pushing. I was like, guys, let's move up. Especially, man, I don't know the names of the fields, and this is really
same. I'm in the same boat.
But in the middle of the field, you know, they were at what they call the air depot. Like that's where their spawn was, and then we were at the satellite. There's like the middle divider where they had like the big water tank in the center. Like they had gotten past that, and I knew if they got past that, it was going to be really hard to retake that area. So I was just trying to drive as much as we possibly could. And, I mean, with the situation, because the rebels just weren't as prepared. We took advantage.
I think, no, of course. But I think just because, again, seeing the type of player base that, will go on Rebels versus seeing the type of player base that goes on Empire.
Yeah.
Right, let's be real. Like, at the end of the day, we know a lot of guys that, like, want to get, like, fully kitted out, that have their gear together, that have their guns, like, built out to the nines, are typically going to go Empire. And that's fine. That's totally okay. I think, generally, it would actually help maybe if we had, a cap on the amount of players that actually show up as Empire. If not that, at the very least, maybe structured so that way the satellite is considered the middle of the field. We all start off in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe don't worry about how much ammo we're actually bringing onto the field itself. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's really going to be like... I think that's kind of hard, first of all, to really even care about. So I think being able to have players have speed loaders on them and fill up on the middle of the game, I think that's totally fine.
No,
I have no problem with that, but I think starting off in the middle of the field, right, there's no like respawn where you go back in, right? Shorten the game mode to like at max 1 hour, right? You literally have, okay, maybe we can structure so it's like, okay, in 1 hour's time, we're going to have like a be picked up, right? We're going to have, or maybe we're going to have a QRF come in, but we have to hold off until then, right? For 1 hour. We literally just start off in the center. If you die, you can get medicked up to once or twice.
Oh yeah, well I mean at this point we're kind of getting into like a completely different scenario.
Well, no, well it is still attack and defend though.
Oh yeah, but
just to make it easier for the rebels, so that way they have much of a greater chance, and they have more creativity instead of just coming at us from one direction, come us from all sides.
No, I absolutely get it. So here's the thing: when we structured the event, we structured it in a way for a larger crowd, and I think that's where it didn't line up as well as it could have, because. For instance, at Coastal Front at US Airsoft World, those games are 2 hours long. But because of the high volume of players, it gave each individual person a little bit more time to, walk off field, reload, do all these, little things to help keep them in the fight a little bit more. I will agree with what you said. I think the rule of not being able to reload on the field, like even for myself, because I experienced it firsthand, really bit us in the ass. So
I'll be honest, like again, Biohazard did an amazing job with control majority stuff, but I will say, not being able to like carry a speed loader or just fill up, or just having the mag capacity on you.
No, I mean
whack.
You can carry the speed loader, you just can use it to reload your mags on the field. I know. But
whack.
I do think it did lead to creating more opportunities for the opposing team to take advantage of the lull in fire, right? Because the moment that I had to walk off the right side of the field, like literally like 5 minutes later, I heard, because the guys that were there were running out of ammo too. They're like, "Oh man, the right side's getting swamped." I was like, "Oh, like." So
I guess
it did create areas of like. Where the other team could come in and take advantage of the, I don't want to say shit show, but of like the lack of firepower on one side.
I guess because I come like from like Milsom West, right, and that sort of like background, like doing like Milsom games. No one cares. Like that's not a thing that's really, because even then you could very well set up like, hey, all my mags are empty, or I have a bunch of these empty mags. I have a box of rounds. I need to fill this up. You could do that. Like that's
of course.
That's already kind of a lull that someone can take advantage of if you're working by yourself, which encourages you to work with a teammate. So again, I find that kind of rule kind of like BS, because like at the end of the day, it's just kind of inconveniencing the player. But again, maybe that's something that we can work out ourselves.
Absolutely.
BB Wars.
Absolutely. I will say that, especially because we had the smaller crowd.
Yeah.
I did get the feedback of, like with the field being more open, especially with a lot of the guys that we play with. Shout out to Chef, Brewer, Darktree, everyone, Real Wild, all you guys. Even shout out to Ronald, all you guys that drove from like a distance to come down and play is super dope. But getting like all of your guys' feedback as well is really valuable to us, because we can use that to help make the events even better. Okay, so I want us to hold off on continuing BB Wars, even though we could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, same.
I do want Boaz's opinion on this, so I'm going to get him in so we can film it for the next podcast. But me and the boss man had a very interesting discussion last night. And you being the player that you are, Isaias, I wanted to get your opinions on this too.
Okay.
Because you own a lot of unique airsoft guns. Some might even say niche.
Oh, very niche. I would 100% agree.
Yeah. Niche. With the upcoming releases of quite a few new guns, like some that are already out, like the Vorsk VMP1. There's even
the F90 KWA.
Yeah, F90 KWA. That one's a new release that just came out. But I don't know if you heard, Crytek is actually releasing
a new Vector,
a gas Vector, which is very cool to see. But even Archwick, they're coming out with a gas blowback SMG as well. It's the B&T 10.
Yeah.
So it has cool. like an angular like Glock style mag. But I'm actually really excited to see.
I'm looking forward to that one too.
But this is what I wanted to ask you. So, do you think players care about having these unique airsoft guns? And we do have quite a few different platforms here to show off. But do you think that these players care about these different airsoft models when, in the essence of airsoft, it is a competitive type of hobby sport, where having something a little bit more simplistic like an AR or an AK would benefit them more?
I think it is. I think people do care. I think ultimately people do care. I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to disagree with me. In the grand scheme of things, they don't. But, we're at that point, we're just ignoring. Even I'll concede this, that the demand for it is definitely and will always be smaller than the demand for like your traditional ARs. Mm-hmm. However, the demand is still there for more unique platforms out there. And you've seen it yourself. How many times have we released a video of some sort, whether it be a review, an overview, maybe highlighting some airsoft guns, right? And one of the things we will always see is like, I hate that it's constantly ARs, right? It's always ARs, always M4s, right? And I stand with those guys, right? Because I am one of the players that will encourage, the sale and distribution of other unique platforms.
Well, here's the thing. I see a lot of those comments, but at the same time, when something new is released, I don't see people gravitating toward it as much. I mean, if the player is, trying to be as competitive as possible, having something that is really familiar to them, given like M4 AR platform or even an AK, I would say, where the controls are a little bit more simplistic, I think the only real instance where someone would want to get a different platform is either A, they love that platform from some type of media, whether it be a video game or a movie or something, or B, for the novelty of it.
You're forgetting one other thing. It's not for either, it's also for doing Milsim events as well. Remember, it's not just ARs and AKs at the end of the day that are being used by militaries all world over. Yes, you can make the argument that a lot of countries are adopting or have already adopted some form of AR, or even you can even say like the 416. It's not an AR technically.
But AR controls.
Yes, we'll use that. Like they use very similar fire controls to the AR, right? It's not just those. There are a plethora of guns that are used the world over and that have been used the world over for many, many, many years, right? And again, if you wanted to make a loadout specifically for a Milsim event, right, with you and your team, right, you would need to configure your loadout to that, right? So you would need to run the proper platform for it. That's another, again, thing for it. And there's another portion of Airsoft that we're also ignoring entirely. Yeah, you're talking about competition, but at the end of the day, you also have to realize that a big portion of our sales, all Airsoft sales for the Airsoft guns, are for collectors too. Not every Airsofter is going to be a player.
That's true. But I would say the...
Because where are players that don't have fields supposed to go?
I mean, there's a lot of people out there that just have private land,
but not everyone.
No, not everyone for sure. But I would say that that the amount of collectors there are out there, it's probably 1 to every 100 actual players.
I don't know about that one. Okay, I'm gonna. The only reason I'm gonna argue that one is because I don't see any like actual research data showing it. Yeah. We would need to actually look at that. So I want to avoid statistics just because it's like at that point it's just semantics without actual proof.
We don't have any hard numbers, but I mean I would say from the amount of people that I have interacted with online, in store, messages, whatever, majority of them have been players. I can think of one guy in store who's a regular, who's a collector.
Think about Howard?
Yeah.
I know a few more than Howard, but yes.
Shout out to my boy Howard.
I don't know if he watches these, but Howard, shout out to you, man.
Yeah. But, no, I mean, here's the thing. Like, let's get into the real firearms section of it. You know, there are military entities out there from different countries that were using platforms that were available to them, but... Still, but majority of them have phased them out and have gone for an AR platform to be its replacement. Like Germany, goodness, they had the G36. Right, that got phased out for...
Even before that, it was like G3, then G36.
Yeah, but all that got phased out for the 416, right? It's AR controls, very familiar. I mean, literally, if you put a 416 in an uneducated person's hand, they only know about M4s, they're going to think it's an M4. Controls are exactly the same, right? And who was using the L85?
The British.
Yeah.
The English.
They swapped over to Knight's Armament SR-15. Another
Not fully
AR.
yet, though. And for years and years and years, they were still on the L85. Again, it's not a matter of like, oh yeah, just because they are doing it now, yeah, how much... First of all, this is a whole other argument, right? Because then you can make the argument, well, yeah, how much money is that going to end up costing them altogether, right?
Oh, I mean,
yeah, it's cool that you have all these controls, but at the end of the day, well, that's a lot of money that they ended up dumping, and that can be a huge logistic issue.
I think money aside, I think just as a platform, because especially in the United States military, you know, there have been many contenders to replace the M16, M4 platform, like the SCAR, the Masada.
And not every country that's used different platforms also has completely switched over either. I mean,
look
at Australia as well.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right?
Australia's using an AR.
They have one, but the vast majority of them are actually still going to be using... They went all in on the AUGs, bro. They went all in on the AUGs.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The only thing you're referring to, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be like their version of the SAS. Right? Yeah, of course, right? Of course they have their version of the AR, right?
But here's the thing, though. With how easy it is to learn the AR platform, it has prevented a lot of military and I would say even like local law enforcement from even wanting to try to adopt another platform. For instance, Bossman and I were talking about it last night. In terms of like failure rate, the SCAR is more reliable than the M16. I forget the exact.
No, it's by a pretty good margin. Yeah. But the problem was that the failure that you get is like fucking like terrible, right? So the actual bolt, like for some reason, gets like stuck, right? Like if I'm not mistaken, there was a few things. It was the stock breaking, and then there was the bolt itself, right?
So that I'm actually not sure of. But also, even though the SCAR is very similar in like controls, it was different enough to not adopt just because they would need to retrain their soldiers, their like everyone on the new platform, right? So in terms of Airsoft, right, I think it's safe to say that you and I, when we talk to customers, especially new players that want to get started in Airsoft, like I think 9 out of 10 times we're normally recommending an M4.
No, of course, because a lot of players that come to us are going to be looking for their very first Airsoft gun, right? Yeah. And generally speaking, yeah, if this is going to be your first Airsoft gun, yes, of course we would absolutely recommend the AR. There's no question about that, right? Going to make it the most convenient for them. However, just by saying it's the most convenient I don't want to diminish the demand that exists for the other platforms as well. Because again, by saying that, vast majority do this, majority just means 50% versus like other 50, or no, it means like 51% versus 49%, right? Yeah. That's literally what majority means. At the end of the day, does that really mean that the portion that has the demand is that small? At the end of the day, we don't really have the numbers to really back up, right? As far as like how many of them are collectors, how many of them go play. I'm just saying that it's never a good idea to diminish or subdue or to try to silence the demand for other stuff that exists out there.
Oh no, I'm not trying to say silence or like
silence, fool.
I mean, here's the thing, especially coming from like a hobbyist standpoint. I've been playing Airsoft for a long time. a gun that I have gravitated toward constantly is going to be the M4 AR platform, because it has the most aftermarket support in terms of externals, internals, and even tactical gear, which I think is really overlooked when someone is getting started in airsoft or is in airsoft but only has one platform already, right? So, for instance, when I had to get when I was running my my KMP9, right here,
Sure.
my KMP9, right? That is not the size of an M4 magazine.
Oh no, that is a lot taller.
This is a lot heavier as well. I mean, this being gas blowback, right? But I had to build an entirely new loadout to be able to run this effectively. On top of that, I mean, getting back, this gets into more of the training side. When I first got the KMP9, it was very foreign to me. Like, I got it because it's cool, gas blowback, SMG, like, rate of fire was dope, very intimidating, right?
Still is, by the way.
No, absolutely still is. But the problem with it was, the first time I was trying to figure this thing out, I was like, how?
Just so I can address both those things. When it comes to like the being foreign, get over it. I mean, like, I mean, you did. That's really what it is. Just train with it.
Yeah, I mean, but there is a substantial learning curve, especially for something this dramatically different compared to an M4.
I mean, the counter to that, right? When it's like, oh, it's so different. It's like, well, yeah, none of us are.
Flag you.
Yeah, no, you're chilling, dude. You're fine. I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, right? None of us are born out the womb as John Wick. Right? Most of us,
speak for yourself, my boy.
Oh, yeah?
Keanu Reeves, he came out gun swinging.
Nah, man. He honestly, the amount of training and dedication he put into that's dude. Like, he trains fucking hard for that. But anyway, like, none of us came out the womb like ready to go ahead and just pick up any gun, and we're just masters of it, right? None of us. Like, no matter how good you may have as far as like, oh yeah, I'm pretty good at airsoft. It doesn't matter. It doesn't transition. It's not one to one. At the end of the day, it requires a little bit of training and familiarity. Even if you go with an AR, right? Someone who's never fired a real gun before, or someone who's never played in their life, right? They can get good as well. It's just going to be a matter of training and getting used to it.
Yeah.
Same thing for any platform. It can be the most unique, obscure thing. The French, their military, you don't think that they've been effective for this long when using the FAMAS? No, they have absolutely... Like, if you talk to anyone that's actually worked with them, the Rangers as well, like any SF guys that's actually worked with them, they'll all say they are good at their job. They are really good with their job. And they use FAMASs like very efficiently, very effectively, because they're used to it. They train with it.
Okay.
It's a platform that they dedicate themselves to, and just like anything else, you dedicate yourself to it, you're going to be a master of it.
Okay. So,
Oh, sorry, I almost forgot. The gear. That was the other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, that'll be the last thing, and then I'll let you. But yes, when it comes to the gear itself, I feel like that's honestly, and it's going to sound weird, but that's honestly the fault of the player. That's the fault of the player because they catered their entire loadout towards only one gun. And that's kind of, again, would you cater everything towards only one platform, or would you try to make it, okay, no matter what gun I end up getting, I'll be able to fit whatever magazines, my gear will work for it. Because, you know what I mean, just like in a real life situation, right? If for whatever reason your primary goes down and you have to use someone else's gun, or you're in a position where you need to use something else, you're like, oh, sorry, I can't, my loadout's not catered. No, you're going to make it work, and hopefully, you know, you were smart and your loadout can work for it. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to do, but that's kind of a drawback that you have to admit. My pouches, all my plate carriers, I will try to set them up as best as I can to accept any magazine, no matter what platform, AK, AR, G3, FAL, SCAR. I try to get it to work for all of them, and honestly, it's worked out for me. Chest rigs, plate carriers, then we do sell mag pouches that will work for pretty much everything. They exist, they're there, and they're cheap too. Lancer Tactical, G-Force, there's like plenty of options that exist out there. I get it, right? Not everything will be catered towards that one specific platform, but again, maybe it kind of helps to build your platform or your entire loadout towards multiple things.
I get that, and you know, when I started Airsoft, there weren't as many modular pouches and things like that. I mean, today I would say we are definitely spoiled with the amount of technology.
It's kind of weird though that you say that, because like even though there was like there wasn't as many like tactical gear options like plate carriers and stuff for like or pouches for that different platforms. Back then there was a lot more platforms that were available for sale.
No, that's facts. That's facts. But I mean that again involves just having to build a whole new loadout, right? Because pouches weren't multi-purpose. They weren't expandable like HSGI tacos or I can't think of it's the Scorpion pouches from Cheat Code. But a lot of the pouches that you run, they are made to be expanded upon, but not shrunk. So something that you didn't list was a PCC magazine, right? Especially those what are they, G-Force ones, the hard shell ones,
the clamshell ones. Yeah,
those definitely won't hold these.
But the extended pistol ones will. Even the regular pistol ones will still hold that.
Okay, so here's the thing. For an SMG though, for a regular pistol, yeah, same. See, but here's the thing. The moment you take one out, this one's going to be flopping around. The moment you run around, there goes your $50 mag right there.
Hey, but guess what? I can still carry it, right? At the end of the day, my loadout can still carry everything.
Do you have extended pistol pouches on your plate carrier right now?
One of them I do. I need to get more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of them I do. My multicam black one, I'm actually getting more of them.
Yeah, but can every plate carrier that you have be able to hold these magazines?
Yes. There are better ways to do it, but I can do it.
That is very big skeptic right there. Especially the clamshell one that you have. You know what?
You want to bring it?
We'll have to test it out later.
Okay.
But
right. I'll bring it.
Okay, so outside of tactical gear and having to learn the new platform, I think this is one factor that I think really sets the M4, even 8K platform to be more competitive than other platforms that are available. And it's going to be the actual usability of the gun itself. Standard M4, you build it out however you want, right? It has plenty of aftermarket parts for it. On top of that, the magazine capacity, right? Like, for instance, you, running your FAL, talked about how difficult it was to get magazines for your FAL, right? They are not available. So if someone wanted to get an FAL, how long did it take from you getting your FAL to get your mid-cap magazines?
It took a long time,
right.
long ass time. And to be fair, like, COVID had a huge part on that.
That's true.
Like, there were so many delays from getting that classic Army shipment that those mags were part of.
Yeah, we were supposed to get those in back in 2019, I think.
Literally, like, maybe like a month or two after I got my FL, I was supposed to get the magazines, and then everything got delayed, right? So that one's very circumstantial. But I get what you're saying, right?
But even like for like a gas blowback system, especially with the Vector coming out, the B&T 10 coming out, and I'll throw in the F90, the new F90, right? They're fun. Don't get me wrong. I love gas blowback guns. I think we can all agree to that. They're fun. They're cool. But in terms of it being an actual competitive tool to use,
it's competitive. It's competitive. You know why? Because KW Wave released a video, gameplay footage at BB Wars of them using it, and he was stacking. I don't know if it was Mike or not. I don't know who was using it. Dude.
The F90?
Yes!
Oh, really?
He brought it out. Yeah, he brought it out several magazines, and he was getting killed, my guy.
I mean, was it a one video, one take, or was it a highlight
video? One take. Watch the video.
I need to watch this video. But here's the thing. If it was an endurance thing, right?
The F90's really light.
No. I'm not saying in terms of strength.
Oh.
I'm talking of keeping the gun in the fight as long as possible, right? The amount of magazines that are available for both M4s and AKs, especially with M4s or ARs, having the EPM1, having a 250 round mid-cap magazine, versus this, I mean, this is a 50 round magazine. It's actually pretty chunky for a gas blowback gun. But, I think the F90 has a 40 round magazine.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still substantially less. And considering that the magazines are even heavier, right? The more magazines that you add on, the heavier you're going to get. Now, I know the argument can be there, be like, hey, get good.
No, not only that, but also it kind of doesn't matter because, I mean, the LM4 is still a thing, too. Like, gas blowback M4s have the exact same issues. At that point, you're just arguing, like, AEGs versus gas blowbacks. In that case, for, like, endurance, just staying along in the fight, yeah, AEGs are always going to be the better option.
Well, not even that. Like, let's say the MP5, for instance, right?
Okay.
I mean, for Airsoft, the MP5... magazines suck.
Yeah.
Magazines suck ass for the MP5.
Yeah.
For that,
I can't argue that.
Even for like the P90, like if you don't have, right? They suck. For I would say magazines that feed very well. Of course, M4s have been out there. I think like every company and their mother makes a mid-cap magazine for it, even high-cap magazines. I will say though, no one makes a high-cap magazine for the
like
M4
G&G.
like G&G.
My
boy, they I don't
always
know
carry one.
I don't. Yeah, I had one.
Yes. Yes.
But but like for AKs, for instance, I would say they're a little bit more hit or miss because
just the fitment.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're able to get the proper fitment for your gun, like obviously, like if you get an Arcturus gun, get the Arcturus magazines, right? Those work great, and those mid caps are like 150 round magazines, right?
But if anything, you could kind of use that as a counterpoint towards the AR platform, because even then, the AR isn't perfect. While there are a plethora, and again, he's right, a ginormous plethora of options in terms of brands that make, and models, right, of different magazines you can get for your AR. You guys know, if you guys have been playing long enough, not all of them are of the same caliber. In fact, many of them, I don't mean literally, I mean like, you know.
I was like, huh?
Not literally, they're not all of the same quality. I'll say that. Right, and even then, there's going to be like issues with fitment as well. Like the VFC mags that we, like a lot of these, oh, it's not a VFC mag. But anyway, I thought I had, oh, there it is, right there. Oh, there, right? Like these VFC mid-cap magazines, for example, they have trouble fitting into a lot of different ARs. In fact, a lot of times they actually have trouble feeding sometimes. Even like the newer, like Lance Tactical, like their knockoff P-Mag, right? Mag, don't hurt us. You know the one that comes included with the MC4?
Oh, yes.
Or the Zion Arms R15s? Yeah, I mean, don't say. Anyway. With those magazines, right, they have a hard time actually feeding in some other guns, specifically VFC bodied guns, I've noticed. Right? Yes, and I know because I own a VFC.
I didn't have any trouble when I used it.
I've had a few customers come in saying that they were having some like feeding issues with that.
With that specific magazine?
That specific magazine.
I mean, here's the thing. VFC's somewhat picky.
Yeah, right? Even KWA, back in the day, they used to be very picky.
Yeah, I would say KWA has improved.
Oh, yes. Significantly. KWA, you're doing good.
With the Ronin series, yeah, you guys have been doing all right.
Right?
Can't complain.
But what I will say is, because that's also kind of a benefit for running something that's a little bit more unique, because there isn't as much variety, the mags that do exist out there, they have to work. They feed, and it doesn't matter what brand I get, whether I go with the Echo 1 or the Classic Army brand magazines, they will always work in my FAL. No questions asked, no fitment required. Same thing, I can say the same thing about the AUGs, right? Whether going with the JG, the Army Armament, right? The, the ASG, all those magazines will work the exact same way.
Until you run into the situation where it's MP5 and just none of the mags work at all.
MP5 just for whatever reason. The one that like pisses me off is the P90. That's the one that pisses me off the most.
No, let me tell you something.
I love the P90 too.
Let me tell you something. The electric AUG magazines. Like regular AEG.
Oh, yeah.
Not AUG, I'm sorry. UMP.
Sure.
Regular UMP magazines are atrocious.
I have
so bad.
I haven't used it too much, but I haven't experienced that. Is it that they're like this feeding and just?
See, I think it's just the design of the magazine. The spring has to like one straight road and then a hard turn.
Oh,
and go back
it's
up.
Too sharp.
It just like it runs into like the issue here with the UMP with the MP5. Those are the only two that I can think of right now. But like there are, I mean, I think maybe just because of the way they designed it, because you know guns like KWA, right, the QRF series and the original series that use the same exact magazines, where they're straight or they're curved. I think they designed it better. So I mean, yes, it's not as many rounds, right? They're like 70 round magazines, but I don't think they tried to maximize the potential of it. They just wanted it to be reliable in feeding.
I love my low cap mags, dude. It's so nice. It's so cool.
I mean,
I get to reload more. I'm like, I'm tactical. Oh shit, reloading.
Yeah. See, I think that's a point for you though, where you. Even myself, at times, we like the realism. We like being able to reload and do all the functions of it. Which I will agree, you know, which is why there are the platforms that do exist. But, like, again, like, even like popular models, like the UMP, for instance, like this has been around for how long? Okay. Well, not this specific model, but the UMP and Airsoft.
Well, even the VFC has been around for some time too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, this is still pretty slept on.
Yeah.
The gas blowback UMP is still pretty slept on.
Fucking Alphonse said it best when he did his test for this thing. Fucking slaps, dude. Yeah. Like this thing's awesome. But the UMP, you're right, has been around for some time.
Yeah, and it just, hasn't been accepted as much as like the M4 8K. Like even though there is a very big disparity between like I'd say M4 in terms of like being used in popularity would be up here. 8K would probably be like right here. Bless you.
Thank you.
Who would be right here, and then the rest of the platforms are probably down here. Like they don't get as much love, and I wonder if that is because people don't want to, like, just the points that we've listed across the board. They don't want to learn the new platform. They don't want to build out a whole new loadout. Maybe they just want to stay more competitive on the field longer, whatever. Even in terms of like upgradability, like granted, like AEG platforms, if it's a modern day AEG, it's more than likely going to have aftermarket support. But some platforms that are really unique in Airsoft don't have that aftermarket support. Like one instance is going to be the Masada. Air nozzles for the Masada are I can't think
about
of
the AG one, right?
Yeah, the AG one. I can't think of a company that makes the nozzle for it.
But here's the thing, and that's my counter to it, right? Is that like, yeah, there might be a one or two drawbacks in terms of like, okay, what you can't change out, right? But I mean, how many times do we see that on like some brand's AR, right? You have to modify it in order to get it to work with aftermarket parts in the first place, right? There is always a will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Because with the Masada, you can still work on them because gearbox-wise, they can still take aftermarket gears. You can still put aftermarket pistons. You can put whatever else you want in there, right? Even bucking an inner barrel, which is at the end of the day, all you really need to really see that much of a jump in terms of range and accuracy. Yeah, you can easily swap those out.
But that is a valid point, but I do think because of some of the proprietary parts in specific models, it does limit what you're able to do. Like, for instance, when I had my Masada, I really wanted to upgrade the fuck out of it.
Sure.
I really wanted to, like, build it out. Even when I had my VFC Scar, right, I really wanted to tune them and, like, build them out. But because of those limitations, it's like, honestly, for me, it made me more hesitant to want to run the guns as hard as I normally do, because if that one particular OEM proprietary part breaks, I know that I'm going to have a lot more difficulty sourcing that part and fixing it, right? And that's why I've just continued to gravitate toward the M4 platform, because.
But see, it's that mindset specifically. And I'm not trying to like call you and be like,
no.
But it is that mindset that honestly kind of led us to where we are now, where a lot of designs and companies have to become stagnant.
Yep.
Right. That's the problem that like you have, right? Where it's like, oh, I only want this because it's the easiest to go. It's like, okay, well now we're seeing less and less models out. Now, thankfully, again, there is still going to be like other unique platforms coming out, because there again, if there was really no demand for it, realistically, at the end of the day, the manufacturers would have stopped making like other shit years ago, literally years ago. But they still sell, not as in high volume, I will say, but because people are kind of afraid. Right, people are, and I get that. You're afraid to like make the investment into another platform, right? Especially because most hobbyists and enthusiasts realistically only stay in a hobby for only 2 years. There's actually a whole study that was done. I gotta show the book.
Wait, I'm gonna need to repeat that whole
thing. So whenever like a person makes a jump into like a new hobby, they will spend the majority of their funds towards that hobby within the first 2 years. Because again, it makes sense, right? If you think about it, because they're spending the money to get all the gear they need. Maybe it's like, oh, it didn't work out, so you got to buy a replacement, right? Yeah. You're kind of figuring your shit out. But after those initial 2 years, granted, guys like us, a lot of the hardcore members of the Mayo Gang, we're the outliers. The vast majority of regular players and enthusiasts are only in the hobby realistically for like 2 years, like the hardest. They might participate here and there and jump back in, but other shit gets in the way, or they jump into another hobby. Yep. Right? That's just the thing, right? It's human nature. We do this, but. I get it. If you're only going to be in this hobby for about 2 years, you're going to make the investment towards something that's going to last you a little bit longer, right? So I get it. You would go for like an AR because it's easy.
Yep.
But again, that's kind of the problem. I'm not looking for something easy. I'm looking for something that I'm going to have fun with. And what I mean by that, when it's like I want to have fun, how many times can you run with an AR realistically? You have to constantly like either rebuild it out or buy another AR. But at the end of the day, we look crazy because we're building the same fucking gun
every time,
every single time, right?
I can do it every time.
Realistically, if you really want to, because it's such a modular platform, right? Why not just buy one AR and then just build that one out? Have a bunch of different uppers for it, or change it out, right?
That's what I did.
Right? Exactly. I mean, you're doing it right? But a lot of players will be like, no, I need to get this version of the AR, this version of the AR, and I get it. There's different versions that exist out there. Mark 18, Block 2.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go to get this like little like CQB build, right? Some very, very, very short SBR of some kind, or maybe some version of SPR. I get it. I do get it. I do understand. But isn't it more fun when there's like something else that exists out there? Like, hey, and maybe instead of just going with like a standard like Mark 12, what if I wanted to get a SR25, right? What if I wanted to build out a G3, right? What if I did want to? Because if we're going by the same logic, MP5s would disappear too. And as far as them being supported, that is a real case-by-case thing. Because at the end of the day, guns like the Tavor, as weird as they are version 2 compatible. Guns like the guns like the AUG, at the end of the day, as weird as it is still a platform that's supported. It's still using a standard version 3 gearbox.
Well, I would say the AUG is definitely a unique case because it's existed in Airsoft for a long time. So there are companies, when it was more popular, it has that aftermarket support still. It's not as great as the
no, of course not.
M4s, but it definitely still has.
We unfortunately live in the U.S. and we've marketed the shit out of the AR, right? Because everyone in their minds, right? Everyone's like you always say, right? Everyone's the main character. Everyone's the hero of their own story, right? Everyone thinks that way. So everyone's gonna go with the hero gun. What's the hero gun? The AR, the M4. We're the good guys, right? Of course you're gonna go with the AR. I mean, debatable, but anyway, right? You're gonna go with the AR, right? Because that's like you see it every action movie, right? They're gonna use the AR, right? That's what the go-to platform, right? It's like. Yeah, but I also want to like use the shit that the bad guys use. Yeah. I want to use the stuff that you don't see very often.
I think that is coming into more of like the enthusiast side because I have owned plenty of different airsoft.
Oh yes,
I've owned plenty of different ones.
We're not talking about that.
Not gonna talk about that. But they're like those platforms when I owned them, I rarely used them mainly because it's like. When it came down to it, a lot of my like muscle memory was already ingrained into like the AR M4 platform, and like it was just so instinctual for me to grab that and just know how to use it.
It's instinctual because I feel there's a big difference though. It's instinctual. It feels like it's instinctual because you already got familiar with one platform. Again, take the exact same experience that you've had. Just swap the platform around. Anyone can make that argument.
Oh no. Again, I did agree with you on that point where training can overcome limitations. I do believe that, but I don't know. It's just really hard to debate because competitively, I mean, there are the instances where someone has what you said figured out the platform, figured out a way to upgrade it or build it out, right? But how many airsofters out there are really willing to go through that? I would say all the guys that like Taylor, for instance, he finds a way to recreate airsoft guns. Not even just like try to upgrade them, literally recreate them. And he is a very rare case, as you and I are. Like, we are rare instances of where we wanted something different for like that specific model. And I completely understand that, but what I'm saying is I think majority of the airsofters, especially with the saturation of M4s and what you said, how we've popularized it, is that the correct word?
We've just marketed the shit out of the M4 and the
like it's
AR.
been glorified. Glorified is the right word, right? Where especially with the aftermarket support, it's the most competitive. I don't even I hate to say it, but at the same time, I have to admit, I think it is the most competitive platform because even in like a competition, like tournament setting, I don't think I've seen someone not use an M4 or high kappa. High kappa, we're not even going to talk about. We're not even going to talk about
this. This is a whole other thing.
But specifically for M4s, I don't think I've seen anybody run like a Speed QB tournament with an AK or a G36.
But that's the thing, though. It all goes back to exactly what I talked about earlier, and you even conceded to this, was that it is just how we glorified the AR. At the end of the day, we glorified the platform so much that we put ourselves in a position where it doesn't seem like there's much of potential or anything else other than the AR. When in reality, there's a lot of potential that you can do. Ask any tech that knows his shit, right? They absolutely, it's going to be weird, right? Any tech that's been doing this for a long-ass time, right? they love some of the weirder, more unique stuff out there, right? And they will say that, yeah, you can get these to be super competitive for sure, right? Yeah, you might not have as much modularity externally, right, as AR. That's what I will give in, is that, yes, when it comes to just sheer modularity and just, I don't want to say buildability because that's what modularity really means. But still, you get the idea, right? You can build it out to the nines, right? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that you can't go ham on, say, like any other unique platform that exists out there. Right? It's just because we forced the market to only work in the AR sector and focus solely on that we've limited ourselves. It's not that the platforms themselves don't have potential. No, far from it. The platforms are great. They're fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think this is where...
So my main thing was I would hesitate from saying it's the most competitive. It's just the most convenient.
I think that plays into it, though. Okay, so we've been going back and forth for this.
I don't think we're really going to realize fucking conclusion here.
Yeah. Well, we'll end it soon, guys. I just want to make another point. And ISAIAS does have a lot of great points. And by the way, guys, if you guys have opinions, put it in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. I'm curious.
Yeah, we definitely want to know about this because I really want to know ISAIAS' opinions on it because, like, again, coming from an airsofting like hobbyist player standpoint, and as long as I've been playing, I have dabbled in the other platforms and stuff. And nowadays, like what I mentioned earlier, there is tactical gear that you can
multi-purpose.
Yeah, that you can multi-purpose for sure. Especially like with, it's funny because I said it last night on stream. It still sounds weird. You know, plate carriers are supposed to be modular, right? But there are now modular plate carriers where it's easier to modify.
Okay.
Where you can take the placard off completely, not have to undo all the moly and reweave, right? But there's now modular plate carriers where, in a sense, it can be changed faster for a specific platform.
Oh yeah, dude,
right?
It's awesome.
So absolutely, I love that shit. I love it to death.
I'm having to do that now for all my plate carriers now. It's making it so much easier. Huh?
No, exactly. But I think everything we talked about, all of the pros of the AR is what makes it the most competitive. Now, again, I'm not knocking on any other platform. I want to see more variety. I want to see there be a support for all of these other platforms as well. But in terms of mechanics, like actual usability of the gun, the availability and upgradability of the gun, and the convenience of it, I think that, like, all of it together is why it is the most competitive platform. Not even just in Airsoft, but in real firearms as well. Because all of it has been so streamlined and convenient. And now, I'm not saying, like everyone and their mother can upgrade an Airsoft gun. But
everyone can.
I mean, how good?
Yes.
But, like, even doing simple upgrades is relatively easy. Like a barrel and bucking upgrade in the M4, super easy. For a UMP,
I don't have to go that far, even for an AK.
Oh yeah. Actually, AK is really good. You have to disassemble the whole fucking AK. I'm sorry.
No, it's valid. It's a valid.
You have to disassemble the whole AK just to get the hop-up unit out, to swap it out, and it sucks to do. But me and Boston talked about this last night. The way that the AK hop-up unit...
Dude, it's perfect.
It's fucking good. It's good.
Even with the stock hop-up, little dial, little arm, right?
The slider.
Dude, it's perfect. Like, it's not. I feel like it's more reliable than the AR.
No, just the way it was designed, absolutely. Especially since it's braced against the receiver, braced against the gearbox. Like, it is like... just designed so well.
Like Boaz and I agreed that, like, you get like a well built like RPK or like freaking AK like LMG variant.
Oh,
dude, those are fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
they're terrifying in the Muslim setting.
Yeah, especially with the version 3 gearbox as well, which is surprising, because as well as it's built, as well as the version 3 gearbox and like the AK platform specifically is built and how solid it is, it's still not as competitive. In the overall,
I think you're okay. That the matter of it being competitive is, I think you're like combining competitive and also like convenience in one when they should be considered two separate things, right? Competitiveness, I feel like, is a result of everything. That's not like a factor. That's just literally a result of everything. You make the argument for something being competitive. I think convenience is a big factor. You're right. When it comes to the externals, yes, the AR, it is the most convenient. Because again, we unfortunately put ourselves in a position where that's the only option that realistically exists for a hell of a lot of, like, as much options. But as far as it being competitive and just performance, the AK, I think, is one of those options that can still compete, if not be better in certain areas than the AR.
You know, as much as I don't want to agree, I do agree. Because, I mean, honestly, that's just a factual statement. Because, again, just the way the AK was built with the version 3 gearbox and the hop-up unit. God damn it.
Sorry. I really agreed with that.
It looked like a water bird.
Yes.
You know, those water...
Yeah, I know. Dude, I love those. My dad has one in his office. It's awesome.
Yeah, head bang a water bird over here. But, no, yeah, just the way that it's designed. And I would say that the AK... specifically, because I mean, I think the UMP uses a version 3 gearbox. I could be wrong. I know the G36 uses a version 3. Depending on the MP5 you have, it could use a version 3 or version 2. Or a hybrid of the two. The fucking MP5K from Elite Force. Figure it out, please. Thank you. Yeah, just the way the AK specifically can be built out. It can be super fucking accurate. Super reliable. Like, the gearbox, the way that the shell is designed is beefy. Like, it can support a heavier, like, spring for higher FPS. It can support, I mean, I would say in a rough estimate, yes, it can support like higher rate of fire, but that honestly comes down to multiple factors as well. But the gearbox shell itself is so robust in the way it's designed that it can outshine the AR. But I mean, the AK is the second most issued gun, right? I'm considering it Russian.
Yeah. Russian mayo.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. I'm really curious about it. Now, again, I want to clarify. I'm not bashing on any of these other airsoft guns. All the airsoft guns that ISAIAS has brought up, that I brought up, I absolutely love and
Same
adore.
thing. I don't hate ARs overall. Yeah. I run an AR. I run an XM177 because, I got to be that guy. I got to be that fucking guy.
What's really funny is he walked into the office earlier today, before we even clocked in. He was like, man, I just love how this gun runs. It doesn't break.
It doesn't.
This guy, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, XM177 is like so simple because, it also helps that it's completely stock too.
Yeah.
Right. I haven't gone too crazy on the internals on this bad boy. But yeah, I don't hate ARs. Right. Like I know, all jokes aside, I actually do like ARs. I am that player that will encourage, and again, I will be, if I have to be an ambassador for other platforms, to be successful in the US, then I will 100% do that. I want more platforms to exist out there. I want manufacturers to see that, hey, there is a market for this. We need to sell it out, right? And we need to also, and this the tip for anyone that works, I doubt anyone does, but a tip for anyone out there, right, that works in airsoft marketing or any manufacturing, release the aftermarket components for it or accessories alongside the actual release of the gun too. That'll help.
Hey, here's a big thing. Companies are doing better, but if you're a manufacturer listening in, if you release a new gun, release the damn magazines with it. Release the magazines with it,
My
please.
man's spitting facts right now,
okay?
right?
G&G, you're one. You are definitely one. Look at this. SMC9 when it first came out, you didn't have these. You only had the GTP9 magazines, which are the shorty ones. The end right there. It's cool. It's cool. Come on. I mean, now they're available. But please, or
all the nozzles we should have released those at the exact same time.
Honestly, yeah, they should.
Yes. But anyway, guys, if you like what you see here, make sure to go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you like the content that we're putting out, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, helps keeps the lights on and helps keeps the camera rolling. Mm-hmm. But this has been another episode of the Range Talk Podcast. My name is ISAIAS.
I wasn't done talking.
Oh, my bad.
I do want to say, if you guys want us to continue this, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Give us your opinions as well. I really wanted to ask ISAIAS this because he is one who uses more unique airsoft guns.
In competitive fashion.
Yeah, no. Which is why I really wanted his opinion on it, because he goes out of his way to build these loadouts and stuff. And I want to know if you guys are the same. If you would really invest into some of these newer platforms, especially since a lot of them are coming out now. I really do want to see the thriving, and not just surviving, but like the thriving of like newer platforms. If there's a platform that comes out that replaces the AR,
20 years, it's going to be the P90.
I swear to God. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
Take it easy, guys.